What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button to show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, we're here today on the seasonal server. It's already over, but whatever. We're here to do another hero analysis. Today, we're going to be doing Eddga at 13 star. So we've already done Valentino, we've got Sigmund Bait at 13 star. Here we are, Eddga 13 star. Kablowie. So like always, we're going to go through the skills and that good jazz, a gearing guide for him, and then where's he good, where's he bad kind of thing, right? Right, so let's start things out here with the active skill, Edge Pressure. His active skill is going to deal 175% of his attack as damage against 3 random enemies and heal himself for 360% of his attack as HP. He's also going to gain 30% crit and 30% crit damage for 3 rounds. Not bad. A little bit of self-sustain there, which is great. And the crit and crit damage obviously pair well with each other. The more crit damage, the more damage you deal. First passive, the War Song Roar. Each attack grants self with 30% crit damage and 15 speed. Also is going to heal himself for 70% of his attack as HP. That can get pretty nuts. As you can see, he's going to stack up crit damage every time he attacks. So over the course of 10 basic attacks in your average battle, that's 300% crit damage. That's a lot. That is a lot of crit damage. That's kind of why you see the Eddga builds. So the next passive here, this is going to be weird. He's a positional passives, okay? When he's in the back line, he's going to gain 30% attack and 50% crit damage along with 100% precision, which means he's never going to get blocked. He has pretty decent damage and a lot more crit damage. However, you put him in the front line, he's going to gain 60% HP and 40% block. So if you put him in the front line, he's more tanky. If you put him in the back, he's going to be more damage-oriented. Honestly, I don't see a lot of frontline Eddgas. Mainly because his attack is usually too low to be really sustainy, like for actual combat. Maybe the block helps with that, maybe not, but usually when people build Eddga, they're building him for that crit stacking, because he stacks that crit damage like nuts. They want him to crit and hit pretty big numbers, so most people put him in the back line for the extra damage. Last passive here, the Frenzied Howl. While below 80% health, he increases his attack by 28% and crit by 30% for 5 rounds. Obviously only triggerable one time, but that is kind of nice. That boosts his crit up a little bit, which makes him more reliable to crit. That's nice. That's definitely good for someone who stacks a lot of crit damage. So, as always, we're going to talk about his gearing stuff, but due to the fact that we are on the seasonal server, the passives are different in the enable section. We are running the vanilla, what you would get on official servers. Obviously, this is weaker than the official servers, but it's the same stat. Their same enable perk. We run the official version, and then we're going to swap over and run what I run on the seasonal and private server and see if I can't eke out a little bit more from him. All right, so gearing guide. Obviously, you got the 6-star gear on him because why not? For the stone, when you're building Eddga, generally you're going to build Eddga for crit damage. That's kind of your goal. You're going to want crit on him. So I chose a crit HP stone. The reason I chose a crit HP stone over a crit stone is because crit only has a 15% crit rate. To say crit a lot, it starts to lose its meaning. But you only get 15% from that stone. You do get the crit damage, but Eddga stacks crit damage like stupid anyway. He doesn't need the extra crit damage, in my opinion. You're better off grabbing that extra 5% crit. This is only a C4 stone. It's not fully maxed. And grab some HP for some tankability as well. Isn't a bad deal. So I take the crit HP stone personally because it's just more chance to crit, and that's what Eddga really needs due to the fact that he stacks all the crit damage he's going to need. You know what I'm saying? If you did want to run a frontline Eddga, I guess you could run like a block HP stone, double HP stone. Crit HP actually would still work in a frontline Eddga, in my opinion. You still get a decent amount of health out of it, but you help his crit a little bit as too. Could you run attack stones? Maybe it would help his self-sustain a little bit, but would it be enough to balance out the health loss? I don't know if it would, so I would say if you're building Eddga, don't build him as a tank anyway. There's much better tanks. Build him for crit if you're going to build one. In this case, crit HP is probably your best bet. For the artifact, obviously anything that boosts crit. Attack is nice, the crit damage is nice from this Punisher staff here, but the main thing you're looking for is crit chance. That's what you want, because if he doesn't crit, he does almost no damage. All of his damage comes when he drops critical strikes, so you want crit on it no matter what. I don't care if you've got to put a... do I have one? Do I have a little winged butterfly thing? Of course I don't. The one red artifact I don't have. There's a little bitty, what you call it? I can't remember what it's called. That's just ridiculous I don't have one. It's a little, like a butterfly wing, I think it's called, or something. It gives speed HP, but the passive is crit for a forest hero. If that's all you've got that boosts crit, put that on Eddga. All right, he needs the crit. So I would say absolutely crit is your main priority. If you can't get a crit artifact for him, then go with attack. Also, I think isn't there a little red sword that does that? Yes, attack and crit. So black sword wouldn't be a bad one for him. Give him a little bit of attack, a little bit of crit. Obviously, the Echo of Death can work well, a higher attack and crit rate. Punisher Staff is nice because doing a little extra crit damage, but the attack and crit, hot. That's what I would recommend. I wouldn't really recommend, like I said, a tank Eddga is not a very good Eddga. If you're going to build a tank in the Forest faction, build Gru. You'll be happier with him. But anyways, that's how I personally would recommend you build the Eddga. So like I said, we already talked here. We've got the flat HP, the flat attack, and the heal at the end of the turn. There we go. 427,000 power Eddga. Getting ready to hit the stuff. All right, so where is Eddga good? Where is Eddga bad? Eddga's pretty solid in Marauder fights and pretty decent in boss damage in general. He does hit pretty hard, and he has some self-sustain, which is really handy in keeping him alive, but mainly he can hit some pretty big numbers. He's not like, I don't know, I've heard some stories about those tier 3 Vesas dropping huge damage and stuff like that, and I believe it. They're pretty nice units, but he is pretty good, and he's a pretty simple build. I feel like I get a decent amount of Eddgas, but like I said, it's probably just RNG there. Does work in boss battles. For the Aspen, I did get mine to Nightmare. It's so sad. Sadly, I did have to push from difficult, because I never made it to Nightmare. I got to difficult 90, then difficult 90, then difficult 90, and I lost there all season long because I was focused on Bade, and I built Eddga just a couple days ago, and I never upgraded my Heart Watcher. Well, I went in today, and I totally forgot my Heart Watcher had 3-star orange gear on, so she crapped out pretty quick, but I did manage to make it to Nightmare 2 with my Eddga, with very limited potions, and obviously not very high potion count either, but he did work out pretty well, and I was mainly impressed with his ability to handle assassin nodes. That's the part where my Heart Watcher has like the biggest issues. Blood Blades, Walters, they kind of crush her pretty quick if you're not careful. Eddga kind of blasted through him, and he did pretty well at it. So he works all right. I didn't get enough playtime with him at Nightmare Plus. I just made it today when the season's ending. I just made it to Nightmare, so I didn't get enough playtime with him in Nightmare to see just how far you could take a 13-star Eddga. I would say you're still probably better off with a natural 13, like this built for the Aspen, like Vesa, Heart Watcher 13, Karim 13, stuff like that. It's really geared for it. But he does work as a node breaker, and he can take those assassin nodes to the face, and he does pretty well with them. So, does work pretty decent in the Aspen as a node breaker. For tower and stuff like that, he has no crowd control, but he does drop some big numbers too, so he works kinda okay everywhere. Not really in PvP. He's not a PvP dude, in my opinion. He gets crowd controlled too easy. The one thing he has going for him is he does build that speed up, so he can potentially make himself pretty darn fast. Where's that? I'm looking for it. There we go. He constantly gains speed, so if he does stay alive long enough, he can be fast enough to go before crowd control units, which can be handy, and if he does get that crit stacked up with the crit damage, he can do some nasty damage in PvP. It does happen. He has carried me through some battles I don't think I should have won, but he's not built for PvP. Obviously, with no crowd control effects, he's really easy to nuke down. Like, if you crowd control him, it's over for Eddga. He's got nothing going for him. I don't think he's a great PvP hero. I just don't feel it from Eddga. Obviously, you're better off going with crowd control units for PvP, like Jara, etc., stuff like that. So he's mediocre at best in PvP. He mainly shines in PvE, and that's where we're going to test him out. Hopefully I've got some battles here. I do. Jogs? He's got a Margaret. I haven't seen a Margaret in a while. Jogs, what's up with your level, dude? Anyways, we'll do some battles here. Obviously, Eddga's going to be in the back line. This is going to capitalize on his extra attack and such from being in the back line. Let's jump in here with the vanilla. We're going to do a vanilla battle, watch it all the way through. Then we'll just do a speed up battle where we just, see what happened, obviously, at the end. Just next it and look at the damage. Then we're going to swap over the passives, his enable perks, and see what all we can get out of his private server, I guess, enables instead of just the official stuff. So that's what we're going to look for, see what we can get out of him. But for right now, let's see what he does. He's already dropping like 5+ mil at round 5. Like I said, it's not bad, and he hasn't even been... Has he been hit yet? Has he gone below 80% health to get the extra attack or the crit? I don't know. He's stunned now. That is no bueno. When he's stunned, he does 0 damage, and that's not good. So Bade's doing pretty alright. He will do a little extra damage here to Walter because he is a forest-type unit, and for 16 mil, what's up? Forest does obviously get a damage bonus on Shadow. It's a 7.5 mil basic attack. Not bad. Not bad, my friend. Oh, he got stunned again. Come on. Don't do this to him. He just wants to do some damage. 6.4 mil, 21 mil from the Bade. Get in there, Bade. Do your damage, my friend. Oh, didn't crit on that one. That's not fun. When he doesn't crit, he doesn't do very much damage. It's a thing for surezies. I don't know if it's going to be a good one for Eddga. Probably not a very high damage run. But that's all right. These are the official stats. That's a 9 mil basic. That's stupid. That is retarded. We did pull 228 million damage total. Eddga pulled a 60 mil. Bade dropping 89 million damage. That's not bad. Go Bade. Go Bade. Lord Bade rocking it out. That wasn't a very good run. But again, my Bade has all the enables I would take on private. Eddga right now is running vanilla. So we're going to do a next here. And we're just going to fast forward it and see what we get. Like so. Pulled 248 this time with Eddga dropping 85 mil. And that's the thing. If Eddga misses even a single crit, it can take an attack from doing 20 million damage at the end down to doing like 2 or 3 million. So obviously there's a huge disparity between his crits and his not crits. That's why you want him to crit all the time. So with those 2 runs out of the way, 60 to 80 million damage coming out of the Eddga. We're going to go ahead and swap over these enables to enables I would personally take. The first one's going to be at round 4, increasing the crit and crit damage by 25%. I don't need the crit damage. It's all about getting that extra 15% crit at round 4. That's what I like about it. I think I'm going to leave the attack for now, and I'm going to swap out the resilience for down spell control. Every time he attacks, he increases his skill damage by 25%. That's obviously pretty powerful, being that he already stacks crit damage every time he attacks. Now he's stacking spell damage as well. The flat attack isn't terrible. It does boost his heals a little bit, and it also boosts his damage. I could run like a bleed or ignite or something. I just don't feel like it does enough damage to warrant dropping the flat 8% attack boost. So that's what we're going to run instead. We're just going to run it just like so, and we're going to see if we can change up those numbers now. All right? All right, so life, your Walter's still alive. Thank you. Thank you for having him still alive here. Let's see what our Eddga gets to now. After round 4, he should have a much higher chance to crit, and so he shouldn't get quite as many just flat hits, because the flat hits don't really do a lot of damage. But I'm not going to lie, for never building an Eddga or a Bade before, I've actually been pretty impressed with what they can do at 13 star. That being said, these are the first 2 13 stars I've made. I haven't made a 13 star Bloodblade or Walter, Karim, things like that yet, so we'll see. Already dropping the 5 mil, that's not bad. Stunned him, come on, dude. Just let him be. Let him be a thing. If he stuns me again, I'm gonna cry. Don't do it. Don't do it. Didn't crit, 3.28 mil. Ugh. This might be a rough run too. 6.9 with the basic, that's not bad. As long as he doesn't keep stunning him, that's kind of the annoying thing. And sometimes it's not, like I said, it might not be a bad idea to run like the crowd control thing on him, just so he doesn't quite get CC'd so easy. There's a 29 mil drop. That's what I'm talking about, Eddga. Slap him. Slap him right in the booty hole. 8 million damage basic. Not bad. Like I said, he just keeps stacking that crit damage, and it gets retarded. It does. It just gets stupid. So here we go. Last one around. 42 million damage. That's what I'm talking about, Eddga. Slap him in the face. 280 million damage done, with 118 million damage coming from Eddga. Bade took a little bit of a damage hit there, only did 67 mil, but 118 million damage is a really big bump from 60 to 80 mil. You're talking about almost doubling his damage by swapping over to the private server passives, which goes to show you the private server has much better options for an Eddga build than the official server does. Not to say that 60 to 80 million damage isn't bad, because it's not bad. Well, at least I don't really know in comparison to the 13 stars, but for me right now on my official account, I would crap my panties for a 13-star Eddga to drop 80 million damage. But whatevs. So anyways, we're going to run this again. We're going to next it. He might just die this time, though. He may. Oh, he didn't. Sweet. 256 mil, so not quite as high. Eddga's still dropping 100 mil. So Eddga on the official version was running about, 60 to 80 million damage, depending on when he crit. When you swap him over to the private server passives, 105 mil, 118 mil, so that's still a pretty big swing. That's 20 million damage, but 100 mil plus is easy to expect from a 13-star Eddga, and that's not bad, okay? I'm just going to say that's not terrible damage. So there we go, guys. That's what Eddga does. He doesn't really PvP well. It's not his thing. But there you go. You've got a look at a 13-star Eddga and what he's capable of in Marauder fights. I don't like to do the broken spaces. I could do one. There's really no point in it. Well, I guess we can do one. What the crap? I've got 50 gems. We'll do this one here. Battle it out. Eddga in the back line. Let's make things happen. Oh, hiccup thing. There we go. Defeat. I get defeated. 84 mil. As you can see, 50 million damage. Still not terrible. But one thing that you guys may not know about the Broken Spaces bosses, I've talked about it before, but they don't just have armor, they also have reduced damage. And that's why you can see Bade is hitting like crap over here, because he goes right through armor. That's something Bade has no problem with. He builds up armor break, he shoots right through armor. When I took over and started fighting the event bosses, even the little ones, I was like, man, his damage isn't hitting very hard. And it's because they have reduced damage on top of armor. So it's not just about stripping armor for the event bosses. There is reduced damage to deal with as well. But still, 50 million damage. He did over half the team's damage there. That's not bad. So Eddga, if you're going to build an Eddga, his main role in your team is going to be boss damage, in my opinion. He can work, like I said, he can work in the Aspen Dungeon. He can be a little supporter in like the Tower of Oblivion, Brave Trial, stuff like that. He can help out. With his self-sustain, it's also kind of nice. Little bonus package there. Is he the best build, though? I would say no. If you're going to go for really heavy PvE damage, I mean, you can always do the Aiden cheese for a couple billion damage, but if you're just using regular units, I'm sure a 13-star Bloodblade, 13-star Walter would far out damage a 13-star Eddga. But like I said, if you've got the Eddga copies, he's not a super hard build in the private server. For official, like I said, he's not terrible. In official, people build whatever the crap they can get their hands on. Eddga's not a bad build, okay? Just saying, from what I've seen from him, I'm actually moderately impressed with what Eddga can do. His power did drop a lot, taking that HP off. Obviously, remember, this is a fully geared up 13-star Eddga, so you're not going to be expecting to see that kind of damage from a 10-star Eddga, or a 9 or an 8, of course, but fully maxed out is not terrible. I'm pretty impressed with him, but like I said, the next coming seasons, I'd like to test out some other units at 13-star and kind of see where he fits into the mold of things, but for right now, I was all right with it. So I would say Eddga, you can build an Eddga if you want to build an Eddga for PvE. Don't expect him to carry into PvP well, he won't. Unless you're an official, I guess, where it doesn't really matter almost what you build, because PvP is it's not nearly as hard over there. But yeah, I would give him a stamp of approval. He has a Wrath stamp of approval for a PvE build, because he is kind of funny. He puts out more damage than Bade does, and everybody knows that Bade's kind of a joke. It's just kind of a funny thing, but he outdamages Bade at 13-star. He does do pretty good damage. So there you go, guys. That's the Eddga analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure smash that thumbs up button to show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well, and tell your friends about it, because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.